Hello, good morning. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Brain Talk Tuesday with Danielle Holistic Psych. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and doctor of clinical psychology student. We'll be finishing my doctorate and graduating next year. So super excited about that. For those of you who are joining either live or recorded, please say hello and tell me where you're joining from. Excited to get to know you. If this is your first time, please let me know too. I love to connect with new people and tell me where you're joining from. So as I get started, to let you guys know, I do a lot of things obviously on brain health and what we can do to influence mood, emotions, which is what we're going to talk about today, recovery with healthy habits. I do all sorts of subjects. And what I really like is I want to be able to add some insight. So what I like to do is I like to question everything, because one thing I've learned is we're not just a person in the universe and things are happening to us, right? We can actually create. We have so much power in our minds to change whatever our circumstances are, whatever our situation is, no matter that, if that be our mental health or that be our finances or that be, just a situation that you feel like you're stuck in. You have the power to change it. And a lot of it has to do, obviously, with the mind and mindset. So I'm going to talk about mood and emotions, but in a little bit of a different way today. So what I'd love to do, as you say hello, great to see you guys. If someone could be a commenter for me, I like when we can have some of the tips that I point out commented below so that everybody can read them and see what helps. So as I get started, for those of you, tell me an emotion that you deal with frequently. Just type in what's an emotion that you deal with frequently. And that will help as I'm gearing this conversation to really relate it to those of you who are watching live. All right, so let's get started on the mood and emotions. So I posted today, which topic everybody wanted to hear, and it happened to be mood and emotions, one, but I'm going to talk about the other one as well next week, and actually it'll tie into today. So when I look at, every morning, let me tell you my morning routine, because this really helps my entire day. When I first wake up, I wake up to my self-hypnosis. Okay, so that's, I wake up to just all of the positive psychology things, like beliefs that I want to just feel confident in about myself. So I wake up to that. But after that plays, about 15 minutes, I lay in bed and I visualize one aspect of my goal happening. So I've got 6 major goals in this next year, and I visualize how it can happen and what are some possibilities for it to come to pass. And as I do that, I'll just choose one each morning and I'll visualize it. So again, the power of our mind is huge. And then what I do after that is I call it PPM. Ponder, pray, meditate. So I either do one of each of them, or I do all 3 combined, and I basically guide my conversation and thoughts to a higher thought form and ask for insight, ask for inspiration, for at least one extra item that I can do that day, extra action to fulfill my goals. And then something will come and it's enlightening. And I love living off of that enlightenment. So what I'm telling you this for is because this will tie into mood and emotions. This morning I posted something, and it came to me, as I was in that PPM. Thank you, Alicia, for typing that up, the ponder, pray, meditate mode. And basically, you may have the most valuable thing to offer somebody, whether it be your children, whether it be in your job as a psychotherapist, or maybe it's with essential oils. No matter what you do, you have value. But that value will only show through when your energy does towards it. So when we come at something with an energy of, well, I hope, or, kind of like, I wish that it would do something for somebody, that energy is not, it's not going to penetrate in the way it does. But if you go, okay, I have a message, I need to share this with somebody, or whatever it is, or I need my kids to understand this, and you come at it with confidence and with conviction and love, then that energy is a lot more powerful, and it's going to it's going to come across. So let's talk about thought forms and energy for a minute. So we have it's that surround us, right? We have energy all the time. You can feel it when you're on your computer. You can feel it, with all sorts of things that, like, internet waves and radio waves going through the air. There's energy, right? Actual measurable energy. So our brain, when it puts energy out, right, when it's doing in thought modes, it has an energy as well to that chemistry. And same with your heart, it pumps and it creates a chemical energy. Okay, so thought forms. We have higher thought forms, okay? So those thought forms are enlightening, they're exciting. You just feel like you can do anything, you can say anything. You just feel limitless. That's a higher thought form. You feel like you feel loved, gratitude. Those are all higher thought forms. What are some other? Type in for all of you guys, type in some other things that are higher thought forms. I want you to recognize what they are. Because when we recognize what are higher thought forms, there's no reason to give any attention to lower thought forms because they're a waste. So this all is going to tie into mood and emotion. So what are some higher thought forms? Like seeing things through positively, right? With kindness, love, understanding. Just going off the top of my head as well. Like being resourceful, joy. Thank you, Chantal. That's a great one. Joy. These are higher thought forms. And then why you guys are intuition. So why you're typing these higher thought forms out, I'm going to just mention some, but we don't need to type in the negative ones. We don't need those more in our head. But the negative thought forms are anything that's defeating, filled with doubt and fear. But fear and doubt look in many different ways, like maybe I'm just tired, or I don't feel like it. Like anything that's sluggish, anything that is like, I don't know if they're going to listen anyway, like doubtful, okay? Lack. I don't know if I'm going to have enough money to make ends meet. Like that's lack. It might be like true if you're looking at your bank account, but it's not a true place to live, okay? So if the more you live in it, the more that energy becomes who you are. So those negative thought forms, like, I don't know if I'm doing enough. I don't know if I'm being good enough. I don't know if I've been a good enough mom. I don't know if I'm doing enough to help this person. I don't know if I'm doing enough to, grow my business. That's lower thought form. That's actually not truth unless you just decide to live it, and then it is truth. So it does not have to be your truth. So I hope that makes sense. So we've really talked about higher thought forms and lower thought forms, okay? So when we look, I'm going to come back to these. So keep typing in any higher thought forms. Thank you. Yeah, gratitude, inspiring, hopeful. When we look at when I do my PPM, right, my ponder, pray, and meditate, I look at, I ask the question, like basically, like what influences mood, okay? So what does influence mood? What do you guys think? I love to think this through. I think of what influences mood. It really comes down to one thing. We may think it's a lot of other things. We may think, well, it's your environment, or if it's, if someone's rude to you, or, maybe work is stressful, blah, blah, all that kind of stuff. It can influence mood, but it only influences mood because of one thing. And it's just what Claudia said. It's your thoughts. Yes, Chantal said it too. Your thoughts. Thoughts are what influence mood. Your belief. Your thoughts influence your belief too. So it's really those thoughts that tie into your belief. So if we think like, stress, for example, well, it's stressful. It's stressful because that's our perspective. I've got so much to do, so I'm going to give you an example. I have a very strict schedule with finishing my doctorate right now. And Wednesdays and Thursdays, that's why you probably don't see me like at all online, is because I am just doing my papers, my research. It takes a lot of focus, and I just sit down and I focus on my doctorate. Well, last Wednesday, I had a business partner of mine come over, and we started talking, and we really got into deep and just talking about her strengths and her branding and just some really cool things. And I had this thought that came in my head that was like, oh, I'm wasting my time. I'm not getting my doctorate done because I'm not on my schedule and I've just got so much to do. And I thought, wait a second. I'm not going to give into that stress, into that lack mindset. And I just says, nope, I am doing exactly. So it's about changing perspective. I said, I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to do right now. And because I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to do right now, when I go to do my homework, it'll flow so much easier for me. So can you see how we can even change a stressful situation? So I changed that instead of going, and actually what happened, we ended up spending a couple hours. Then I had another one of my business partners call me and be like, I need some help. And I'm like, come over. So my entire Wednesday, instead of doing like my homework, I spent helping 2 people. And then any time like my thought came in like, oh, I just didn't get my homework done, I'm not doing good enough. Like, can you see how easy the thoughts can just turn anything into, well, that's nice to help them, but you're not doing what you're supposed to do. Or, I'm just trying to think of any type of negative that's a lower thought form that will just start to attack you. And they will, okay? So what you have to do is you have to turn that perspective. And when you turn the perspective and you grasp onto with positive thought forms, like higher thought forms, you make it true. It's so simple. It is so simple. If I grasp on, oh, you're right, I didn't get enough done, now I'm going to be behind in my doctorate. What would happen if I really bought into that belief? What would happen? I'd get behind in my doctorate because I bought into that, and then I would make it happen. But instead, in that moment, and I'm just giving you one simple example, but I had the thoughts attack for sure, and I just said, no, I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to do. Yes, I'm helping these people today. It was the right moment. My doctorate, when I go to get it done on Thursday, it's going to flow. The thoughts are going to come to me on what to write. I'm not going to, I won't be stuck. I'll just be in the mode. I'll get it, and I'll get my homework done quicker than I would have in 2 days. So thoughts are huge that tie into your mood. So and then just to kind of finish that story, what do you think happened on Thursday when I went to go do my doctorate? It flowed. It was so cool. And I love that I had that experience. I was like, oh my gosh, it flowed. I got it all done. I did what I normally would do in 2 days. I did it in 1. And that's all because of your thoughts. So that's one of your major steps, right? So first one is, what influences your mood is your thoughts, and recognizing that awareness. That first step is awareness. So if someone can write down step 1, awareness to your thought forms. Are they higher or lower? And you guys, what good does the lower serve? And just because it might be true because you've been buying into it and you've had a belief of it, does that mean it has to be truth? No, it doesn't. It doesn't have to be true. And that's what I want you guys to know. So if you think, well, then I'm lying to myself. You might be right in the beginning, but you're lying to yourself to turn your life into something different. Okay, so awareness to your thought forms. Are they higher or lower? Thank you, Alicia. It really helps me too. It keeps me on track. Okay, so now I'm going into number 2. Step number 2 is, what do you want to think and believe? And this is limitless, right? What do you want to think and believe? Do you want to believe that you're a confident and influential person? Do you want to flows? My doctorate flows. My research papers, what I'm giving my own examples, obviously. My relationships are just great. My relationship with, maybe you're struggling with, I don't know, like your sister, and just go, you know what, my relationship with my sister is just beautiful. It's exactly what I need to learn. I'm so grateful for it. Can you see the difference? And then, she just irritates me. I don't like that she blames me. Those are lower thought forms, okay? So this is going to influence your mood. So when I say, what do you want to think and believe? I want you to write down, so the positive. What do you want to think and believe? And write it down and say it to yourself. I want to believe that I have a great relationship with I'm just saying, we'll say sisters, I do, but I have a great relationship with my sisters. I want that. And it doesn't mean that it has to look like we're besties and we, pick out each other's bras. I don't know why I just said that, but it doesn't have, it can be in whatever form it is. You have to allow it, but you have to. So I hope that's making sense. Okay, so write down what you want to think and believe. What is it? And then what you're going to do is I want you to choose with one thought, right? You're going to have a whole bunch. I have pages of stuff that I like write and I write. But I want you to start with 6. So right now I want you to choose 6 things. 6 things that you want to think and believe. And if it's just start with one, one's a really good one. And what you're going to do, step number 3, you're going to anchor. You're going to anchor that positive thought with a emotional oil, okay? You're going to choose an essential oil, like this one is upside down, passion. Passion is one of my favorites. If ever I'm needing to feel that I am a, confident and influential person, then I just smell passion, I put it on, and that's my anchor oil. So this is how you're going to use the emotional oils for your mood. So step number 3 is anchor that positive, higher thought form about yourself to an essential oil. And that's why I say choose 6 of them, because there's 6 different oils. And you can just, if one day you're like, okay, I am needing to believe that I am special and loved, then I'm going to anchor myself with cheer. I am special and loved. Like, I may not be feeling that from everything around me, but I'm going to make sure I feel it from within. So I'm special and loved, and you're going to smell it. You're going to put it on, okay? That's how you're going to change your emotions, you guys. I'm going to go into how these work. It's not just anchoring a scent. It is. Anchoring is really important in psychotherapy. But these 6 different things you're just going to start with. You can just start with 1 or go to all 6. That's great. And you're going to anchor them with 6 different emotional oils. Okay? So that's number 3. Choose a scent and anchor your thought and your new belief with it. Number 4. You're going to combat that negative thought every single day. You have to be on guard with it. You have to pay attention. You have to realize when your thoughts are going, I don't know, and when they're just at like a blah state, okay? So you've got higher and lower thought forms. That's what's out there energy-wise in the world. And yes, there are some in the middle, but those middle ones are disguised. They're really lower. It's either higher or lower, okay? So if you're having like a blah, like, I don't know, it's just fine. I don't know, not really in a good mood. I'm just in a normal mood, just like, whatever, okay? That is a lower thought form. This is a couple weeks ago when I was bugged about something with somebody in my family, and I just was like, oh, whatever, it's fine, it's whatever. And I just was like, yeah, I'm fine. I just let it go, whatever, And that's kind of the thought process I did. I did the whatever. Whatever doesn't let it go, you guys. Whatever is still a lower thought form. So it came back later that night, and I was like starting to really be bugged, and I was like, oh my gosh, okay, whatever didn't work. So I had to relook at the situation. And what I decided to reframe in my mind is I did PPM, ponder, pray, and I meditated and just asked for higher thought forms to influence the way I see it. And when I did that, I was able to see, you know what? This person's just loving as much as she's able. She's learning through me about herself, and that's great. And so it gave me the option, it gave me the opportunity to just love and forgive. And so I use this oil, and I'm just putting it on. I'm just like, every time I need to combat, I'm putting all these on, it feels great. Every time I need to combat that lower thought form, I use the forgive that has to do with this person in my family. I just go, you know what? I got insight. I got the higher thought form truth about it. So you have to apply it. And then something else would happen with this person, and I'd be like, nope, I already know what the higher thought form is, that I am here to help her learn, and she's figuring herself out right now, and I'm grateful I can be that person for her. Do you see how that takes it away from you and taking it personal? Okay, so anchoring those oils, anchoring those emotions, and number 4 is being on guard with those and changing it. Every single time it comes in, you choose and you repeat and you choose to buy into the higher thought form, not all the many lower thought forms, okay? Okay, so number 5. I kind of already said number 5, but that's ponder, pray, meditate, PPM. Directing your thoughts to the higher being, the higher universe, higher thought forms. They're just energy waves out there, right? And actually saying, okay, I want to grab onto these higher energy waves. I want those to penetrate my mind. You guys know when they penetrate your mind, right? What does it feel like when a higher thought form penetrates your mind? Isn't it invigorating? It's so exciting. It's like, I don't know, like this morning when I was doing my PPM and I got that thought just that it's not about just offering valuable content. It's about the how you feel about yourself when you offer it. And so it was just, I just ponder, meditate, and these little thoughts come in my mind. I'm like, oh, I love that. And it's exciting. And when you have a lot to do, it's clearing. I love that one, Elizabeth. Yeah, it's fulfilling. So is it not our purpose to seek out all the time how to see things through a higher thought form? It's a higher energy wave, right? Like Claudia just said, it's freedom. So why not choose to see every situation that way? That's part of our journey, right? Is to not only see every situation that way, but become a person who just vibrates at that. And it's not even an effort anymore. But yeah, it's an effort right now. That's how we change our mood. Things are an effort when we're getting practice at them. How many of you guys ever, learned to snowboard? Okay, you want to know the first time I learned to snowboard? I was on my butt most of the time. And I was oh my gosh, I thought I should have ended up in a hospital. I was so sore. I could not move the next day. I was on my butt all the time. My arms, it's hard, but I just kept getting up, kept doing it, right? And so that's the same thing with your thoughts. It is effort. It's building a muscle. And what happened was after I started, snowboarding a little bit more, I got so good at it. I love snowboarding. I can cruise down that hill, no problem. I used to do huge jumps, you guys, boxes, rails. I got really into it. I got good at it, okay? So that's the key, is that you get good and it just becomes second nature. I get off that lift and it's just fly down, no problem. No hesitation. But in the beginning, oh my gosh, every time just to even get off the lift, I remember going, oh my gosh, am I going to fall? I remember being real, sketchy, and I would fall, and it wasn't the easiest. So you have to keep at it. If you really want to vibrate at a high frequency with your mood and emotions, you have to get good at just accepting only those high vibration thoughts and totally rejecting, rebuking those lower thought forms. They don't serve you. Medium thought forms are lower thought forms. They do not serve you. Okay? All right. So that's the number 5 is PPM. Ponder, pray, and meditate to direct your thoughts, asking for insight. Ask, how can I see this through a higher, through the higher thought form, or through God's eyes? That's what I usually say, is how can I see it through God's eyes? Okay. Number 6. Here's the scientific piece, right? When we have thoughts, they trigger neurotransmitters, not even just neurotransmitters, but other chemical reactions in the entire body. And I did a whole brain talk on this. Do you guys remember when I talked about anger can actually kill you? Okay, when we have thoughts of anger, do you know what it does? It triggers in our body. It actually hardens your arteries. Chemically, it starts to physically harden your arteries and can cause heart attack. So if we're an angry person, your heart is struggling. So that's why, yes, your thoughts absolutely trigger chemical releases in the body. So for low mood, okay, then we'll talk about like a depressed mood. You're looking at dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine are 3 major neurotransmitter pathways that go skewampy, we'll just call it, when you are not in a good mood, okay, when you're in a low mood. Those are 3 that really struggle to fire correctly, okay? So when you do, positive type thinking, combating every single little negative thought, I don't care if you don't believe it, say it. You'll only going to start believing it when you start practicing it. Like, I didn't believe I was a good snowboarder when I first started. Actually, I was terrible. I fell over all the time, but I believed that I could be better, and I kept going at it. So that right there is going to help the belief, all these mindset stuff is going to help your brain fire the correct neurotransmitters. Number 7, okay? Number 7 is your food and how it affects your gut, your nutrition, your gut health, basically. So number 7 is your gut health. Your gut health is huge. It ties into your brain health. How many of you know, because I say this all the time, what percentage of serotonin exists in our brain, is produced, in our brain? Less than 1% of serotonin is produced in our brain. Do you know where the rest is produced? The gut. Over 95% is produced in the gut. Do you know how important it is, your gut health? So we're talking, if you really want to change mood, emotions, and belief patterns, you have to increase your health. You've got to love yourself enough to eat healthy. Make choices that your body will stop craving, obviously, the negative stuff and start craving the positive. And it takes some time, so I don't mean just like go cold turkey on every single thing. What I chose to do when I was really improving my diet was eliminate one thing a month. And when I eliminated one thing a month, I noticed like that was easy. I'm like, okay, I can eliminate, bread, I decided, because of the gluten. And I decided, okay, with bread, I'm going to eliminate bread. And I'm going to see in that month, how can I implement this with other things that are healthy, that are a substitute for bread, for example, for gluten. So it was white type bread. So choose one thing a month to eliminate and really increase that gut health. And I just, I shared this just a minute ago with somebody, but I went over to someone's house on last Sunday, and they had hot dogs. And, total American girl, I like a hot dog here and there, but they're not healthy. And I ate a hot dog. I was like, whatever, I'll just eat one, See, that's that whatever, right? Whatever is a lower thought form. So I ate one and I enjoyed the taste. Great. Got home within an hour. I felt pretty sick to my stomach, and the entire night felt sick to my stomach. So how do you feel when you feel sick to your stomach? Like emotion-wise, we are so much more susceptible to lower thought forms when you don't take care of your gut. So I felt yucky. I mean, it was really hard for me to feel inspired and feel like a confident, person. It was really hard. I just felt gross, and then I started feeling like fat and my gut hurt. It's just, do you see how easy when we eat like negative food on our body, right? See how easy it is for our body to be brought down. So again, the next day I was like, okay, can make new choices today. Great. I don't have to stay in unmotivated, Tamar says, exactly. I don't have to stay in a negative mode. You just change it. You can make a change like that. We mess up all the time. Just change it. There's no reason to sit in it just because we messed up. So I used my Digestin essential oil. I went to sleep, and the next morning I'm like, I'm eating, my normal healthy stuff today, and I felt great. And so your gut ties into that. Okay, last thing that influences mood and emotions. That's number 8. Okay, number 8 is essential oils. Now, how I'm using these is in incredible ways. So first of all, essential oils can act as, like I told you, anchors to those emotions. When you trigger something with a scent, you guys, I'm sure you've been to, like, when you were a kid and you went to Disneyland and you remember, smelling cotton candy. And so every time you smell cotton candy, it makes your mind think you're back at Disneyland. That's how powerful the emotion centers are in the brain to scent. They are linked with scent. So pair your positive emotions to scent. And that was step number 3 was choosing a scent and anchoring that. So if ever you're just feeling like low, grab an essential oil and, repeat the higher thought form that you want to grasp onto and you want to penetrate. I'm grateful for the situation, just whatever it is. Say something really bad happened to you. Maybe, really bad, like you were total victim of something, of a crime, of, abuse. Just pair it with something and just go, I choose to feel peace about what happened to me. I can learn from this and I can be an inspiration for others because this happened. Okay? That's what you need to do. So that's essential oils, one part of it. They help anchor a scent to an emotion center. And the last thing is they actually do interact with neurotransmitters and body and brain chemistry. So it's just a win-win all around. So when you're looking at essential oils to uplift mood, there are certain ones that help with dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine. Okay, I'll give you a couple right now. And there are certain ones that just help elevate mood. So I've got a few research studies. One right here is talking about citrus essential oils. So the limonene content, but citruses. I love how Tamar said they're cleansing. They're very cleansing, which cleansing emotions, cleansing the body. It's just 100% is what you need to grasp onto higher thought forms. Okay, so they affect neurotransmitters via ingestion in the brain. It showed through lemon essential oil. It helped in the monoamine release. Monoamines are dopamine, serotonin, norepinephrine. So that was lemon essential oil. So I highly recommend. What I do is I inhale lemon, but I take lemon internally in my water. Okay, so stainless steel glass bottle, and I put about 5 drops of water each, thing that I drink. Okay, so another research study. So there's your lemon is good for that. Clary sage is the other one I want to talk about. And clary sage, they showed that it had the strongest effect on through the dopaminergic pathway, creating an uplifting mood effect. So that is clary sage. So clary sage and citruses are some of my 2 favorites. So Tamar just says bergamot. Yep, bergamot is a citrus. Love it. Litsea, that's a brand new oil this month that you can get for free, is also another one that helps with uplifting mood, and it's cleansing. So it's not really brain science when you think about, let me just give you an example. Citruses are what? They're bright. They're cleansing, right? What do you think they do for your brain? Cleanse and bright. They cleanse those emotions. I mean, it may sound like frou-frou, but it's what they do neurochemically to cleanse, right? That cleanses. And that's what helps cleanse those emotions. So, you guys, I would love to hear how your 8 steps go with you applying to whatever it is you want to focus on. Choose maybe 1 up to 6 things for 30 days at least. I do things for about 90 days. When I do a self-hypnosis track or something like that, I do a 90 days of it. So I recommend 90. Do at least 30, but I would say 90. Choose your scent, pair it with the 6 things that are, positively you want to create within yourself. Of course, there's 100. There's always, I've got so many, but just choose 6 that you can start on and really be aware of in the next 90 days, and pair that, and you will change your mood and your emotions. All right, everybody, would love for you to write down what you got out of this. Please tell me like the highlight for you that really stuck out to you from this Brain Talk today. And next week we'll come back with maybe some more on thought forms. I know I posted that question, and a lot of people wanted to hear about thought forms, which I kind of incorporated today, and some other stuff. So as you're typing in what really stuck out to you today, I just want to let you know I do have an emotions forum that is being released this week. I'm so excited, but we need all of you to contribute, because this emotions, it's a forum for you guys. It's an online database for you to learn what other people are doing on, in their practice or for their kiddos, and what's working, what's helping, and what essential oils or what diet. Like, this is really for you guys to collaborate with one another. So I'll be releasing that this week. Thank you again for joining and loving your insights. I'm seeing them come up. Yep, PPP, which is actually PPM. Ponder, pray, and meditate. Yep, I really find that if I'm feeling just like, I don't know, kind of like blah, or I don't know, I go into PPM. That helps me get centered and clear and get into a higher thought form. And I do that probably 3 times a day. Morning and night for sure. Like, I'll sit on my balcony and do that. But also during the day when I'm feeling like, I'm going, no, I have to sit down, and I just need to regroup. I think about some things that I've done. I think about what I may have done well or not well, and ask for forgiveness for those. If I didn't, just go, okay, help me see it better. All right, you guys, you're awesome. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next week on the Brain Talk Tuesday. Bye.